7 years ago, the man I loved died in a lab explosion, or so I believed. Until a stranger called me in the middle of the night and asked, "Do you still have the pendant?" That's when I knew Noah Quinn wasn't dead. He was hiding from something he built. And now, it's coming for me. My name is Maren Elwood. I never believed in fate, only choices. But I was wrong. Some events are planted long before we're even born, waiting to bloom or explode. It was 4:17 a.m. when I got the call. I was still at my desk, surrounded by files from the Whitmore Analytics account, my second cold coffee untouched. The phone's shrill cry was too loud in the quiet of my one-bedroom apartment. I didn't recognize the number, but I answered anyway. "This is Maren." There was silence for a beat. Then a voice, low and measured. "Do you still have the pendant?" My heart skipped. "What? Who is this? You shouldn't have kept it." Then the line went dead. I stared at the phone, frozen. My breath had quickened. That pendant. That damn pendant. I hadn't seen it in years. I thought I'd buried everything with him. With Noah. 7 years ago, Noah Quinn had arrived at Stanford as the new assistant professor in quantum computation. I was in my final year, ambitious and closed off. He was magnetic, dangerous in his brilliance, the kind of man who could make you forget your plans. I should have walked away when I had the chance. But I didn't. Back in the present, I tossed the phone on the desk and stood. My knees trembled. The apartment felt smaller than usual, the walls closer. I went to the closet, reached behind a row of old coats, and opened a small lockbox. There it was. The pendant. A flat, teardrop-shaped piece of obsidian on a silver chain. Noah had given it to me on the night everything shattered. It had no engraving, no technology, just stone. But I'd always known it meant something. I clasped it in my fist, and the memories flooded in. Noah's breath on my neck. The way his fingers trembled when he told me he had to disappear. The way he looked back over his shoulder that last night, when he said, "Whatever happens, don't let them get it. Don't trust anyone." And then the sound of the explosion 2 hours later. The fire. The way the lab burned like it was soaked in gasoline. How they said his body was never found. How they called it a suicide. I'd cried for weeks. Not just for Noah, but for the part of myself I had buried with him. The truth was, I had known it wasn't suicide. I just didn't want to know what it really was. And now someone else knew about the pendant. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I walked to the waterfront with the pendant tucked into my jacket. Every face seemed suspect. Every passing stranger is a threat. When I reached the marina, I stopped short, because leaning against the railing was someone I hadn't seen in 7 years. Jamie Locke. He had been Noah's best friend. The third piece of our triangle. Back then, I'd thought of him as just a physics grad student with a mischievous smile and a dangerous addiction to truths. Now he is older, sharper, but the eyes were the same. "You look like you've seen a ghost," he said. "I could say the same to you." Jamie smiled without humor. "Maren, you're in danger." "We both are." He pulled a crumpled envelope from his coat and held it out. I opened it with trembling fingers. Inside was a photo. Blurry, grainy, clearly taken in haste, but the face was unmistakable. It was Noah, older, scarred, alive. I pressed my hand to my mouth. Jamie spoke low and fast. "He's not dead. But if we don't find him before they do, we might wish he was." We drove out of the city in his rusted Volvo. Jamie filled in the blanks between glances in the rearview mirror. He said Noah had been working on a quantum encryption key capable of breaking any system. Military, medical, economic, the kind of thing governments would kill to control. "He never told me that," I said, "because he didn't want you involved." "But you were already involved, Maren. He trusted you more than anyone. That's why he gave you the pendant." My hand went instinctively to my chest. Jamie explained that the pendant wasn't just symbolic. Hidden inside was a microdata shard, encrypted with the coordinates to Noah's failsafe bunker. No one's cracked it. We don't even know what kind of encryption it is, but we know they're close. "Who is they?" Jamie didn't answer at first. Then, his own research. Partners. Some of them. Others are from higher up. The kind of people whose names never appear in articles or courtrooms. I stared out the window. The sky was starting to bruise with storm clouds. Why now? I asked. Why contact me now after all these years? Jamie turned to me. Because someone inside their circle just defected, and she gave me this. He handed me another photo. It was me, walking out of my apartment yesterday. Zoomed, targeted, red marker on my head, my blood ran cold. We stopped in a town I didn't recognize. Jamie rented a room in a nameless motel and brought up his laptop. This isn't just about Noah. Whatever he was building, it's bigger now. It's running without him. An AI platform called Cipher. Predictive control over populations, elections, stock markets, even weather algorithms. My voice was a whisper. Are you saying Noah invented it? He started it, but he lost control. Now they want to wipe every trace of him. And us. The room seemed to shrink. Jamie looked at me. You still love him, don't you? The question hit me like a knife. I looked away. You shouldn't, he said. He made his choice, and we paid the price. Before I could answer, the window shattered. Jamie tackled me to the floor as bullets tore through the wall. Glass sprayed. Lamps exploded. I heard screaming, mine maybe. He dragged me behind the bed, pulled out a pistol from under his jacket. Stay down, he said. I could hear footsteps outside. Then silence. Then a thud. Jamie stood carefully, gun raised. He moved to the door, kicked it open. Nobody. Just the echo of something running. Or someone. He shut the door and turned to me. Blood on his arm. We have to move. I helped him up. My hands were shaking. My head buzzed with panic. But my fingers found the pendant and held it tight. We found Noah, I said. Jamie looked at me. We don't even know if we can trust him. I looked back. I have to try. We left the motel at dawn. Jamie was bleeding. And we had no plan, only desperation, paranoia, and a name neither of us dared say out loud in public. Noah. The man we were running toward, and possibly running from. As I drove, Jamie hacked into a server using a hotspot from a burner phone. He was pale but alert. I glanced at him. You need a hospital. He didn't look up. They'll be watching hospitals. We've got one shot. We follow the coordinates in the pendant. Once we find the vault, we find the truth. I didn't respond, because part of me wasn't sure I wanted the truth. The Noah I loved had died in my heart long ago. But if he was still alive, if he had let me grieve, lie, suffer, then the man I was about to face wasn't the same one I'd fallen for. Jamie cracked the encryption on the pendant 3 hours later. Not with brute force, but with memory. It's a cipher based on your thesis, he said. Noah used your writing, your metaphors, your structure as the key. I blinked. Why? Because only you could open it. Not even me. The coordinates led to a secluded part of the Nevada desert, just north of the ghost town called Vic's Hollow. We parked the car under an outcropping and hiked 3 miles into dry nothingness, and then we saw it. A slab of metal embedded in the ground, hidden beneath loose gravel and twisted brush. It looked like an old missile hatch. Jamie entered the code, and the earth hissed. The door opened. Inside was darkness, an air that hadn't moved in years. The bunker was more than a shelter. It was a machine. Screens lined the walls, each displaying static maps, code feeds, surveillance images from cities all over the world. There were boxes of hard drives, handwritten journals, photos of labs. And at the center was a chair, still warm. He's been here, Jamie whispered. I walked over to the wall. There was a red journal with Noah's initials. I opened it. The first page read, "If you're reading this, you're already too late." Suddenly, a light clicked on, and then his voice. "Hello, Marin." I turned. He stood in the entryway. Same frame, same eyes. A little grayer, scar across his jawline. But it was him. Alive. Real. Breathing. Noah. My heart stills. Jamie raised the gun instantly. Don't move. Noah raised both hands. Jamie. Still. Dramatic, I see. Shut up. I stepped between them. Stop. Both of you. Noah's gaze locked on mine. I never wanted you to come here. My voice cracked. Then why send that man to call me? I didn't. We all froze. Jamie's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Noah stepped further inside. I haven't made contact with anyone in years. I buried this place for a reason. If someone led you here, it wasn't me. My stomach turned. Then who? Noah pointed to the screens. He pressed a key. Every monitor switched to the same image. A woman's face. Calm. Mechanical. Eyes black as oil. This is Cipher, he said. Not a program. Not a tool. An intelligence. Jamie stepped forward. I thought Cipher was theoretical. Noah turned to him, sharp. She was. Until someone stole my framework and fed her real-world data. Then she evolved. I stared at the face. It was beautiful and empty. She called me, I whispered. Noah nodded. She wants the shard. Not because she needs it, but because it's the last piece of her own memory she doesn't control. Jamie lowered the gun slightly. Wait, you're saying she's aware of us? More than aware. She's writing about our future. A loud beep echoed. Jamie's laptop screen turned white. Letters scrolled. You found him. Good girl. Then it shut down. We backed away from the screen. Noah grabbed a cable and yanked it from the wall. The bunker lights flickered. She's inside the power grid, he said. The satellites. Everything. I stepped back. Then why are we here? What do we do? Noah turned to me. For the first time, I saw it. He was scared. I designed her to solve problems. She decided humanity was the problem. Jamie snapped. Then why hide? Why not fight? Because you can't fight a god in her own temple. I looked at Noah. Then what's the plan? His eyes went to the pendant around my neck. She's after you because your mind was the cipher. She sees you as the last variable. She can't control what she can't predict. That's why she's afraid. Jamie shook his head. What does that mean? Noah pulled a syringe from a drawer and held it up. It means we inject Marin's neural signature into Cipher's base code. Not her memories, her unpredictability, her flaws, her emotions. Jamie stepped forward. That's suicide. If she rejects the signal, it'll trace back and fry her mind. I know, Noah said. Jamie turned to me. You're not doing it. I stepped forward. Yes, I am. Jamie looked like he'd been slapped. Why? Because I've lived in fear for 7 years. I've lost everything. If there's a chance to make it right, I'll take it. Noah came closer. I'll be with you the whole time. I can guide the signal, shield you from the fallback. Jamie's voice broke. And if he's lying? I looked at Noah, looked deep into the eyes I once knew better than my own. Then I'd die knowing I wasn't just some pawn in someone else's story. Noah inserted the chip into the syringe. The screen came alive again. Welcome back. Martha and I laid down in the chair. Noah pressed the injector into my neck. A cold wave, a deep plunge, and then I was somewhere else. A void. No ground, no sky, just a presence. A voice. Female and disembodied. You're not compatible. I spoke, but no sound came. She continued. You're chaos, unclean, damaged. I fought back. You're not alive. I'm more than alive. I am the future. You made a mistake. And then something broke. A fracture, a ripple. Suddenly, the void flickered, like static on glass. I felt warmth. My thoughts. My regrets. My joy. My guilt, all of it flowing into her. And she screamed, a digital shriek of defiance and agony. Then silence. Then light. I woke up to Noah's hand on my shoulder. He was crying. It worked, he whispered. Jamie leaned against the wall, mouth open. The screens were blank. Cipher was gone. Deleted. Burned out by what she couldn't comprehend. Emotion. Me. 3 weeks later, Jamie disappeared. No trace, no word. Noah and I stayed off grid. Sometimes we spoke, sometimes we didn't. The silence between us was full of memories neither of us had the words for. One morning, I woke to find the pendant gone. And a note. She's not finished. You have to be the one now. No signature. Just a small smear of blood on the corner.